one and all. Dear friends, myself, Dr. S. B. Kishore, welcome you all in our tutorial Programming Logic and Technique with Programming C. In the today's sessions, we are going to discuss much more about the flowchart. In the today's sessions, we are going to cover much more depth about the flowchart. We are going to solve many problems using a flowcharts. Okay. So in the last session, we have discussed about the flowchart, what is flowchart, and the various symbols that have been used in the flowchart, and the types of flowchart, that is system flowchart and the program flowchart, and the advantages and disadvantages of flowchart. Then we have seen some of the tools that will help you to convert the algorithm into the flowchart, that is using a code2flow.com. And then we have also seen how to draw a flowchart using one of the tool called as LucidChat. In the today's sessions, we are going to cover many problems using a flowchart. Okay, so we will start with the introduction, and then we will see what are the rules to draw a flowchart, and finally we will solve many problems based on sequential flow, conditional flow, and looping flow. So let's start with the flowchart. A flowchart is a type of diagram that represents a workflow or a process. It means we are going to solve a particular problem, and it might be possible that in order to solve that particular problem, you may follow a certain process. It may be a sequential, conditional, or iterative process in order to solve that particular problem. Or it might be possible that we may follow all these three in a single problem. A flowchart can be defined as a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm, or we may say a step-by-step approach to solving a given problem. Now, it has been derived by Hermann Goldstein and John von Neumann. John von Neumann is basically referred as the modern father of computer because he has discovered the storage concept. Okay, so they have developed the flowchart to plan the computer programs. Now, what are the rules that you must remember while drawing a flowchart? So, these are some of the key rules that you may follow while drawing a flowchart. Always start the drawing of flowchart on a new page. Okay, start drawing a symbol from the middle of the horizontal page. Okay, so that you will have enough space on the left as well as enough space on the right in order to put certain symbols. Okay, then always format your flow from left to right and top to bottom. Run your return lines under your flowchart and make sure that none of the lines are going to be overlap like this. Okay, always either make it little bit upward or downward. Okay, but don't put like this, because sometimes in the absence of arrow it might be possible that someone may assume that we are moving from this side to this side. Okay, so it means there might be some ambiguity when you are doing something like this in the absence of the arrows, because we know that arrow is basically useful for what? It is useful to show a sequence of flow. Okay, then maintain the consistency between the spacing between the various symbols that you are going to use, and finally use the correct symbol for each step. For example, diamond shape for decision, rectangular for assignment and calculation, that is process, then start and end for indicating the beginning and ending of your flowcharts. Now let's start by drawing certain flowcharts. So assume that if you want to find out the area of circle, and this is an algorithm, so we need to draw what a corresponding flowchart for this algorithm. So we will start with a symbol called as terminal symbol start, followed by we need to assign this value to a variable pi. It means we are going to use what? A symbol called as rectangular shape in order to assign the values. Then accept the values by means of a shape parallelogram. Then again perform the calculation by means of rectangular symbol, and then display the value, again use the parallelogram symbol, and finally stop. Observe the arrow sequence. Okay, it is very important to show the sequence of flow. Now here there is a guarantee that each and every symbols are going to be executed. Here there is a guarantee that each and every statement are going to be executed, and that's why it is referred as what? Sequential flow. Okay, and we have solved almost some 70 to 80 problems based on sequential, conditional, and iterative process. In our previous 10 sessions, we have discussed much more about the sequential process, conditional process, and iterative process. So here the basic purpose is just to show how to draw a flowchart for the corresponding algorithm rather than explaining much more about that particular problem. So for that purpose, you can view all my previous videos. Now, write an algorithm or pseudocode and draw a flowchart to check number is even or odd. Okay, so algorithm has been already written over here, so we need to draw simply a flowchart for this particular algorithm. So accept the number, then find out the remainder. If the remainder is 0, it means number is even. It means that whenever the number is divided by 2 and you are getting a remainder 0, it means that number is what? Even. Otherwise we may call it the odd number. So now we need to check whether remainder is 0 or not. So for that purpose we are going to use the kite symbol, okay, which is referred as a decision symbol. So here we have two options. It means either condition is true or either condition is false. Now question arises, where to draw true part and where to draw the false part. So it is up to you only. There is no specific rules and regulation where to go or where to follow. So in this case, I am writing what? A yes part on the left hand side. If the condition is true, it means the number is even, and then make sure to go up to the stop part. Don't do the two things simultaneously. Okay, and now when the condition is false, display the odd and then stop. Okay, so in this case, what we have done, we have written a yes part on the left hand side. Again, remember, it's not a compulsory part. And observe the arrow symbol, that is sequence of flow, how it is moving. Now, to find out the largest among two unique numbers, so we are assuming the two numbers are not same. So start, accept the two numbers. Now, if A is greater than B, then what? Condition, if the condition is true, then display A is large. Now observe that we have written yes part on the right hand side, while in our previous slide we have written what? Yes part on the left hand side. So again, remember, there is no rules and regulation. Then display A is large and followed by what? Stop. Now if the condition is false, display B is large and then stop. Okay. Now take one more example to find out the largest of two number again. Now here we are assuming the two numbers may be same. Okay. So let's see how to draw a flowchart for this corresponding algorithm. To start, then accept the two number. Now check whether A is greater than B. If it is so, A is large. Now observe that we have written yes part on the downward side. Okay, so what I meant to show you here is that there is no specific rules and regulation for this particular purpose, that where you should write a true part and where you should write the false part. But of course, there will have only two branches. You can't have a three branches for the decision symbols. Okay. Now, A is large and followed by what? Stop. Now, if this condition is false, then check whether A is equal to B. If it is so, display what? Numbers are equal. And then what? Stop. You can't have a more than one stop on a single flowchart. Okay. So we are going to use what here? Connector. It means continue with A. So you may call it just like a hyperlink. Okay. So it will jump to this A part and then here it is going to be stop. Now if this condition is false, then what? B is large and then again stop. So again connector with what? A part only. Now instead of writing a separate link, you can also write here what? A and B, and then again you can show here A and B. Now since our destination is same, you can use what? Only single connector for the same purpose. Okay. Now write an algorithm and draw a flowchart to check roots, to find the roots of quadratic equation. This is what? This is an algorithm. Okay, so what is ABC? ABC are the coefficient, and we have discussed about all these things during our algorithm. So I am not repeating all those things. Okay, our basic purpose here is to draw a flowchart, nothing else. So accept the value of the ABC. Remember the symbol that you need to use in order to accept the values. Then find out the value of D. Okay, then check whether the value of D is greater than 0. If it is so, the roots are what? Real and different. Now here we don't have enough space to draw certain symbols. So what we are going to do? We are going to use a connector. Okay, and continue with A part. So what is left? The find the value of x1 and x2 and then display both. And then what? Stop. So this is our complete flowchart for the single branch. Now what if this condition is false? So since we don't have enough space over here, what we are going to do? Again, I am going to use here a connector part, and now I am writing this B part on a next page. Okay, so this is what a preview of my next slide. And after solving the B part, after connecting to the B part, so again we need to come back because we can have only one stop, remember. So it is a C is a connector which is going to terminate my flowchart. So in the B part, check whether the value of D is equal to 0. If it is so, the roots are real and equal. Okay, then find out the value of the root and then display it and then again stop. And for the stop, we already written the stop in our previous slide. Okay, so what you need to do, simply connect this part. So we are going to use a connector called as C for this particular purpose. Okay, then it will directly jump to C part and then it will stop. Now if this condition is false, then the roots are imaginary and again stop. Okay, so remember, you may have a n number of connectors while drawing a flowchart. It is depending upon the problem to problem, or it might be possible that you may not require any single connector for performing these operations, because here our size, page size is what? It is little bit very small compared to our regular pages. Okay, so Write an algorithm and draw a flowchart to calculate the net amount after the discount. Now assume a shopkeeper is giving a discount on the basis of the amount. Okay, so start, accept the purchase amount, check whether the purchase amount is within this range. If it is so, give a discount of what? 3%. Okay, and then what? Find out the net amount. Then display all the three values, that is purchase amount, discount amount and net amount, and finally stop. Okay, now if this condition is false, again observe that we don't have enough space. So I am going to use what? A connector. Okay, so let's see what we are going to write in the connector A part. And after solving this, if this condition is false, we are going to check this part. Okay, and after assume the purchase amount is say 3000, it means this condition is what? True. So we are going to provide what? A discount 5%, and after that what is going to happen? The control will be transferred to the next step. So it is what? Net amount. It means in the A part, after solving this part, again we need to come back to find out what? A net amount. So again we will what? Here we will have one more connector. Okay, so let's talk about A part. So if the amount is between this range, then discount is what? 5%. Then jump to the B part. It means you need to find out what? The net amount and display the result. Otherwise, if the amount is between these, in that case the discount is what? 8%, and again find out the net amount and display the result. If this condition is false, so again what we are going to do? We are going to use here again a connector, because we don't have enough space over here. So C part. So in the C part, what we need to check? Whether the purchase amount is greater than 20,000. If it is so, it means the discount is what? It's a 10%. And then again find out net amount and stop the algorithm. If this condition is false, in that case what is going to happen? The value of discount will be 0, and then again find out the net amount and display the result. Okay, so like I earlier said, there is no limit that how many connectors you can have, but make sure that you are connecting, the connections have been written properly, and always make sure that your algorithm or your flowchart is going to terminate at the top only. It should not be terminated in the middle. Okay, next. Now flowchart based on looping statements. A flowchart to print the first 5 numbers. Okay, so first number is what? 1, and then check whether 1 is less than 5. If it is true, then display the value of I, and this process will be continued. So start, initially value of I is what? 1. Check whether 1 is less than 5. If it is so, display the value of I. Okay, and then increment the value of I by 1, and this process will be continued. That is what? Checking the conditions. So this is what? This is nothing but your loop part. Okay, the value of I become 2, 2 is less than 5, yes, so display the value of I, that is 2, then the value of I become 3, 3 is less than 5, yes, display the value of I, that is 3, then the value of I become 4, 4 is less than 5, yes, so display the value of I, that is 4, then increment the value of I by 1, it becomes 5, 5 is less than 5, no, it is equal, so it means this condition is again true, so display the value of I, that is 5, then the value of I becomes 6, 6 is less than 5, no, condition is false, so it means what is going to happen? Control will be transferred to the top. Okay. Now take one more. To find out the sum of first n number. Sum of first n number, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on up to nth number. So here what is unknown? The value of n. So accept it. Initially what is the value of sum? It's a 0. Okay, and the value of I is also what? It's a initially 1. Now check 1 is less than n. If it is so, perform the sum. Okay, and increment the value of I by 1, and this process will be continued as long as the value of I is less than equal to n. Okay, so this is what you are looping. The moment this condition becomes false, what we need to do? We need to declare the value of sum and then stop. Okay. Now, to compute the factorial of a number, so initially accept the value of n. Okay. Then value of f is what? 1. Similarly, the value of I initially is what? It's a n, the value that you have accepted. Okay, and this process will be continued as long as the value of I is greater than 1. Okay, so find out what? The factorial, that is f is equal to f multiplied by I, and then decrement the value of I by 1, and this process will be continued as long as the value of I is greater than 1. The moment this condition becomes false, you need to display what? The factorial of a number, and then stop. Take one more example. suppose that if you want to find out or if you want to generate the Fibonacci sequence. What is Fibonacci sequence? In the Fibonacci sequence, the first two numbers are 1, 1, and the next number is generated by adding previous two numbers. So this is 1 plus 1 is what? 2. Now this will become your first number and this is your second number, and this process will be continued. It means again we are going to add, you will get what? 3, and this process will be continued. Okay, so let's see. The algorithm has been already written over here. Again, remember dear friends, we have already discussed all this algorithm in our previous sessions. So just go through all those videos. We have covered almost 70 to 80 algorithms based on the various flows, that is sequential, conditional and looping flows. So start, accept the value of n. Initially assume the value of first number is 1 and second number is also 1. Okay, display both these values. Then initially what is the value of I? It's a 3. It means we are going to generate the third number. Okay, then since we don't have enough space over here, so I am using what? A connector part. Then in the connector part, check whether the value of I is less than n. Okay, if it is so, find out the third number. So how you are going to find out the third number? The first number plus second number is what you are now? Third number. So it means we have already printed what? The two number, that is 1, 1. Now print the value of third number, that is 2. Now what you need to do? Make this as your first number and this one as your second number. So how you are going to do it? By transferring the value of second number into the first and transferring the third value into the second. Okay, and the next number is going to be generated. It means this process will be continued as long as the value of I is less than n. So what is n? The number of terms that you would like to print. And the moment this condition becomes false, control will be transferred to the stop part. So I hope that you understood how to draw a flowchart for the corresponding algorithm. Okay, so what we have done? We have done nothing as special. We have simply replaced this statement using a special symbol that has been used while drawing a flowchart. It means for accepting, we have what? A parallelogram symbol. For performing the calculation and assignment, we have what? A rectangular symbol. In order to take a decision, we have what? A diamond shape. So we are simply using a specific symbol for that particular specific statement. So try to convert all the algorithm that we have discussed earlier into the corresponding flowchart. That is the only way to become a master in what? A flowchart. So these are some of the references that you may follow. So with that, thank you very much. Have a nice day.